Hello and welcome back. So this is part 17 of my Making of Ashamane series. She's a character from World of Warcraft that I'm making into a human character. She's a panther in the game, and this is how I make my leggings that are gonna help hold up my armor, my leg armor pieces. So I start off with my pattern. I trace it onto a 4-way stretch fabric. It's like a sports fabric. So here it's traced, and then I'm gonna cut it out. Some areas get seam allowances, some areas don't. I tried finishing the plain edges and I didn't like that, so I decided just to leave for all edges. This isn't a fabric that frays, so it's all good. Then the very bottom of the leg, I'm going to fold over like this, so I have it pinned, and I'm going to do a zigzag stitch with my regular sewing machine, which I've already done with the other leg. So there's two separate legs, of course, being leggings. And then you can see up here, there's no seam allowance. I'm not doing anything to that. That's just going to be like that. And then the little areas where there are seam allowance, I'm going to pin later. You'll see. So I'm going to go do that zigzag stitch, and I've done that. It's on there. This zigzag stitch allows the fabric to stretch, which is what you want to do with a stretchy fabric. So now these areas where I have the seam allowance on the left and right side, I'm going to match them together, and pin them. And then I'm going to use my serger to finish the edges on these. So right up this line here, I'm going to serge just like I did with the other leg. Except I'm not going to have any white thread in there like I did on the other leg, because that was a mistake. All black thread for black fabric. Yeah, so here I'm just kind of seeing, because I did end up taking in from what I made as a pattern. It was a little bit too big for this being a stretchy fabric. I wanted it to be very fitted, so I had to make some adjustments, just trimming off some. So here I'm doing the serger, just running right across the straight line. So these little tells when you're done. You need to use fray check on these so they don't just come undone. I think there's a few other methods you could use, but it's just easiest. Just take this little glue stuff and dab it on there. It takes about 15 minutes to dry, and then you're good to go, and you can trim off these little tells. So the legs are pretty much done, other than they need a belt to attach to. These aren't normal leggings. Like, my butt's showing. My butt will be covered, but yeah, you'll see. It kind of has a garter type top to it, so I'm using this 1-inch nylon webbing, kind of like you would use for like book bag straps or collars. I'm figuring out how long I need it to be, and then I want to snip it a little bit longer than that. And I'm going to have a plastic buckle that'll be in the front, and that's how I'll get in and out of these guys. I'm going to use a lighter also. I don't do it on camera, I don't think, but to burn the edges so it doesn't fray. It's a plastic, so using a flame is enough to melt the edges so it doesn't fray everywhere. And here's the buckle. So one side of the buckle, I'm going to slip through and pin. See, I'm doing that right now, just like this. And I give me enough little wiggle room here that I can use my regular sewing machine to do a box stitch, which is pretty much you make a box shape and then you run an X through it. It's a very strong stitch. It's good for belts and collars. I use it for my dog collars I make. It's just very strong. So I'm pinning these here. Don't bite my nails. I did them after this video. They were looking rough. Just don't look at them. But yeah, here I'm just pinning that in place to make sure I have it nice and even though no one's going to see this part. It's going to be hidden underneath my skirt. But, it matters to me. I know it's there. So now I'm just going to make sure before I sew if this is going to work. So this other side I'm not going to sew in place. I'm just going to loop it through, and then I can tighten it or loosen it as I need, just by yanking it on there, as I'm doing here. So that's a good spot here. You can see highlight in the cage in the background. But yeah, I can always loosen this or tighten it some. Actually, tighten it plenty, but I can loosen it a couple inches there, which is fine. That's all I need. I won't be wearing shorts underneath my skirt anywhere. I'm going to be wearing swimsuit bottoms, basically. So yeah, I'll just point and showing that I need to use a flame. So here, I have that all stitched and ready to go. And now I got to figure out how I'm going to stitch the leggings here. As you can see, it's just like two butt straps. Don't mind the little ties in the middle. It's for my shirt I'm wearing. So yeah, and Holly, because she was very interested. But yeah, so they're not quite leggings, but they're not quite stockings either. My skirt goes down to my knees. So yeah, I think I'll try it on a skirt later. So for these little gathered pieces, what I did is I clipped them first to figure out right where I wanted them to be. Then on either side of the clip, I took thread and just wrapped it around a ton and knotted it, like a ton. And then later, you'll see where I make these little faux leather bead type deals to go over them. So here I'm trying it on again just to make sure, because I still haven't sewn the top bits. I'm wanting to make sure I have everything lined up right. And Hallight's got to say hi. She's very playful. She's 5 or 6, I think she's almost 6 months old at this point. I think in a week she'll be 6 months old, and she's still a crazy kid. And it's adorable. Actually, I might have sewn, I did sew them. Okay, that's why I'm trying it on. So I sewed the part of the leggings that attached to the belt on. The only thing I have left here is, I haven't trimmed off the little tails from that yet, just in case I need to make adjustments. And I need to finish the little gather bits still. A little awkward to put on, but the tension on the fabric's how I needed it to be to look right. Because the point of this is to attach my leg armor to, because my leg armor sits on my lower calf, which is the skinnier part of my calf. So whenever I make those, they're going to just keep on sliding down to my ankle. I don't want that. I needed something to hold them upward. So I decided to go with this little legging type bit, which is sort of like how I have for my arm armor, my bracers. I have these little sleeves that just cover my arms and nothing else, that those guys attach to. You should have seen that already in their video. I do show it at the end of this video, kind of how I made it as well. But this is mostly about the leggings here. And I was yelling at Hallight here. So yeah, from the back here, I'm kind of adjusting, like, where do I want these to cover my butt at? How far apart do I want them to be? Making sure it sits right. I do have to play with them a little bit when I first put them on, and then they're good after that. They stay put. They do kind of rise up a little bit, but they are going to attach, so the bottoms of these will attach into my leg armor, but then my boot covers will attach into the bottom of the boot cover, so that'll be pulling them down while these are pulling them up. So in theory, it should work just fine. Here I'm trying on the skirt, so normally I wouldn't be wearing shorts like these. I'd be wearing just plain black swimsuit bottoms. Then I put these legging things over it like I just did my shorts, and then I put my skirt on over top of that. Now I did not make this skirt to fit over jean shorts, so it was a little tight, so I had to fight these buttons a little bit, but it still works. I was trying to see how everything looked. So, and I do have belt and bags that go over top of this, but here you guys see how it looks. So now you get a little bit of skin showing there, so not part of my issue that I didn't want to do solid black leggings is the entire costume is black. I needed something, I need some skin showing, I need some color, I need something other than just plain black, because literally everything in this costume is black except for the armor pieces. And there's not like a ton of armor pieces, but at the same time there kind of are, but I'm not like covered in armor. And Hallight again, because she's adorable, and every time I'm doing these kind of things, she's got to chase my feet. Okay, so here I'm showing, because I forgot to show earlier, this is my box stitch. It isn't like a super proper one, but it's close enough. And I did use navy blue on the back side so you guys could see it better. And here I just did 2 straight stitches across the the fabric pieces that overlapped it for the leggings. And I did the same thing for all of them, just 2 stitches just to be sure. I didn't do zigzag because I don't really like stretching or anything, so I'm going to stretch on the nylon anyway, and I did burn those edges. So all I have left are the little beads, and then I don't do it on camera, but later I do have to add Velcro to the bottom of these, but I had to get Velcro, so I didn't do it in the video. Around right where my hand's at right now, Velcro will attach, and that's where it will attach to the little leg armor. The leg armor is like cuffs, kind of. It's just like a circle that goes around my leg. So here you can see that's where I knotted that thread around before for the gathered bits of the fabric, and I'm using these little faux leather pieces that match my belt and bags. And I'm going to straight stitch them to get them to have finished edges. So here you can see in the straight stitch in now. And I'm just going to hot glue them on. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm just going to hot glue them. I do have to trim them down a little bit, because I did purposely make them longer than they needed to be, that way I'd have some wiggle room. And I tried my best to make the seams be in the back, so the seam would be against my leg and no one would see them. So that's how we are. The only thing left I have to do is add Velcro along the bottoms here, and they are sliding up. They're supposed to be lower than this, but I'm going to have armor that goes through here, and these are going to Velcro to them to hold that up, but then my boot cover is going to come up to here, and there's going to be Velcro in them to also connect to the leg armor. That's going to help pull it back down, so that's why I wanted to make sure it's like really fitted. So that will help these stay down. So they're not supposed to be this high up. They're supposed to be more like about an inch lower. But that's okay. So yeah, this is how they ended up. And there's a little brown pleather, like bead type bits. I just hot glued them on. And the rest is just that sports fabric for restretch. And then it's all sewn to the belt here, and I have this buckle here, and this I can loosen a little bit or make it tighter if I need to. I don't think I have these lined up quite right, but that'll work for now. So then I'll need little bottoms, black bottoms go under this, and then I already showed my skirt that goes over top. And then I have my belt and bags that go over top the skirt that I showed way back in the video where I did all three of those things. So that's these guys, and I'm going to be moving on to either the leg armor or the boot armor next. I'm not sure which. I'm still kind of on the fence of what to do with the chest armor. I've got a pretty good idea, but I'm still kind of like, I want to see how things come together and then kind of decide how I want to do that for sure. But yeah, we're getting there. We're past 50% done, and I'm super excited. So I will see you next time. No material this time. It's all, you know, just your basic stuff. If you do want to know where to find something, just leave a comment below and I'll let you know. And as always, I have links to this playlist where I'm making my Ashamane cosplay below, and also my Instagram link for daily updates, or almost daily. I don't get to work on this every day, but more frequent updates than these videos here. So yeah. So I also kind of wanted to touch on my arm Under Armour. So I just showed you my little legging type deal. I did the same thing sort of for my arms, because my bracers, as always, anytime I make bracers, they want to slide down my arms. I have skinny wrists, so like just I guess the shape of my arms, they want to slide down. And then I also want something to kind of anchor the shoulder armor too, since the character had very flat shoulder armor. There wasn't really any way to kind of like rig it up and hide it like normal shoulder armor. So I decided to get these sleeve things. So these little snaps here snap into these snaps in here, my bracers. And they're just like a sock for my arm. They go all the way up. Try to see this black. Like the bottom side goes up to just the bottom of my armpit, and then this part goes up across my shoulders. And then I have this strip that goes just behind the back of my neck and then connects to the other shoulder, so they kind of pull together. I just serged this, and I'm waiting for this to dry here, so I'm trying not to move it too much. And then I got these snaps here and here for each of the shoulders, same thing on this side. I found that sometimes it's hard to snap these snaps into place, and they still have wobbled a good bit, so I also used this very strong Velcro here. It did have adhesive on the back, but I decided to go ahead and pop some contact cement on it. I did the same thing for the shoulders. So yeah, that's the shoulders there. So yeah, that's all this is just, I use the same kind of fabric. It's a 4-way stretch. I went around the edges. The zigzag, I used a zigzag to make the little sock type deal. And then I hand stitched these guys on there. These go on with my table press, the utility snaps. But then, like I said, I used contact cement to glue these on there. I will say I made a mistake with the first one. Is I decided the best way to do this would be to wear this little arm sock thing and then glue this Velcro onto my arm like that. Except the contact cement went through the fabric and onto my arm, and that was an ordeal. So the second one, I put just like cardstock. Like I put this on and then I slipped cardstock back behind where this was going to be, so then the contact cement went through to the cardstock instead of my skin. So that was great. So yeah, like I said, this is done. We're just waiting for this to dry. These just go in to about here on these, and then my gloves for my gauntlets. There's one that's done. This part goes up into about here, just a little bit, and then I have a wrist strap that goes, that's brown, that goes across here. One of these, so like that. so that's hidden a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to do a video where I'm trying this all on, but I'm getting so close to being done, I'm trying to wait until it is all done to do that. But yeah, I figured since this was where I was showing one Under Armour piece, I should go ahead and show this one, even though I didn't record it because I didn't know if it was going to go great. And then I ended up going with it. So yeah, that's my only Under Armour bits. The only other thing I have to make is like my boot covers, but I'll be showing that when I do my boot armor video. So all I have left is the boot armor, the leg armor, the chest piece, and if I have time, I'm going to do both the daggers. I really want to do them, but I'm saving them for last because they're not something I absolutely have to have. Plus, if you watched my gauntlet video where I finished these up, I basically can't use my hands. I could totally hold the daggers, but yeah. It'd be one of those things where I would just be holding them for pictures for sure. And when I'm on stage and stuff, since I am planning on being in the cosplay fashion show at Matsuricon. But yeah, so that's it. Just wanted to throw that in here real quick. And thank you so much for watching this video. And I know it's a longer one. Well, I guess it might not be too long. Actually, I looked at the whole thing. But yeah, it might be longer. I'm not sure. I'm trying to keep them as short as I can, but at the same time, like, make like the context of the video make sense. I don't want to like cut off in a weird spot. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. See you later.